Welcome to another edition of the Tiger Football Report. I'm your host, Spiro Marikas, along with the head coach of the Tigers, Rob Ambrose. And, Coach, finally, the scoreboard went in the Tigers' favor this past Saturday against not against Villanova, I'm getting ahead of myself, against Monmouth, 52-48. Highest scoring combined game in the history of Towson football, beating the 2012 game against New Hampshire that you won 64-35 by a point. Now, I know you knew going into this game that your offense was going to have to be efficient. Did you think it was going to have to be that efficient?
Yes. Honestly, yeah. You're looking at one of the top 5 offenses in the entire country, not in our league, in the entire country. Number 1 running back in the country, and his backup's a stud too. The weapons on the outside are as good as you will see, not at the FCS level. You'll see it at the FBS level. And their quarterback, while a super stud who did not play, young buck walks in and does exactly the same thing he would have done. I knew they're an offensive juggernaut. We knew we were going to have to do our best to try and stop the run. We knew we were going to have to be very, very efficient offensively, and more to the point, we were going to have to keep the ball out of their hands.
Well, Tyrell Pigram, who has had some problems with completion percentage this year, didn't have that problem Saturday as he hit his first 11 passes. What was different for him this week as it has been in prior weeks?
Well, honestly, I could say him, the offensive line, the entire offensive unit, the offensive staff, getting better every week. You're seeing improvements, and you're seeing improvements against Elon, nationally ranked team. You're seeing improvements against William Mary, nationally ranked team. Here's this juggernaut of a new team in our league that's killing it, and we're still getting better. And I can say the same with Terrell. He's getting better every week. Truth be told, he had a frustrating week of practice, a struggling week of practice. But we got our heads together, and Thursday and Friday things got right, and he played the best game he's ever played as a Tiger.
Well, I'll tell you, for coaches and players, it probably was a very stressful afternoon. For those of us who were watching, it was extremely entertaining. And the most entertaining player on the field was Diego Hunter, who this week again named the CAA Special Teams Player of the Week. Not only the 74-yard punt return, but the kickoff return for a touchdown. He's now one shy of tying the school record for 4 in his career, and had the second best special teams yardage in school history behind Tony Vincent. So pretty special company.
All-purpose yards. All-purpose yards.
All-purpose yards.
I was down with Tony Vincent today. And it probably hit 50 yards, close to 50 yards in carries. Had a catch for 10 or 12 yards, but it was a key third down conversion. Yes, he played well, and yes, he's the National Special Teams Player of the Week. But for me, the excitement was that's the first time he's really been healthy, really had both feet on the ground, and he had his best day as a Tiger. He's been struggling. He's been beat up. He's hindered a little bit here, a little bit there. First time he's really, really healthy, had his best game, and made the difference. The punt return, we talk about how big that was because we immediately scored the next play, and now we're up on them basically for the rest of the game. But here they keep chugging, come back, and they bring it within 8. Kickoff to us, and he says no. He just returns it the rest of the way. It is our kickoff return unit. That's one of the best kickoff return units I've had a chance to coach. It's impressive. Those guys are good.
What's the difference been in the 48 hours as we record this for this team to get that monkey off their back after losing 5 straight?
The biggest difference? I'll be honest, we practiced a lot harder. We did hard work in a way that we haven't done in quite some time. The old heads will remember when coaches get mad, things don't go well. And it's a different world these days, but we went to some old school football during the week, and it paid dividends big time. We worked so hard last week in practice, we had no choice but to believe we were going to win. We earned the right to believe we were going to win.
You told Ben Rosenbaum at halftime that you weren't as nice this week.
Yeah, that would be honest. That was an honest statement.
What does that mean? You were not as nice this week.
Some of the guys that I've coached in the past know nice Rob and not nice Rob. And not nice Rob's Mach 10 with his hair on fire, and things tend to move faster when I'm like that, maybe. And in the world of, everybody wants to be talked to like they're men and grown-ups and stuff like that, we had to do some growing up. And we did.
All right, time to move on. This week, Villanova, a team fighting for their playoff lives. They will come into this football game having won their last 2 ball games. They beat Hampton last week. Again, you're going to face a team that is very good at running the football. They average over 200 yards per game on the ground.
And 200 yards per game in the air. And they got athletes all over the place, and they're really, really smart. It's just another Villanova football team. I mean, seriously, they're really good. Their quarterback's good. Their running back's good. Once again, their offensive line is very, very good. And to be honest, we walked into the Monmouth game without players, and we left the game with less. It's flu season, and I'll say right now, we have 1/3 of our team that cannot participate in football because of health reasons. And it was a challenge defensively last week to finish the game with enough defensive linemen. Now we're pretty much in the same boat, walking into another bonfire of fun, and the guys are really excited about it. They don't care. It doesn't matter. We've had the next guy up mentality. If you're down, I'll pick you up. I got it. And they're excited about it. We've had really solid practice so far. It's going to be a game.
You talk about it all the time, that you tell your players, and I've heard you in pregame speeches talk to them, that you only have so many opportunities. Well, we're in November now. For a lot of these guys, it's the December of their careers.
Without a doubt. And well, there's that. And there's also, no matter what happens with all these guys being out, actually, one of the first things I say when summer camp starts is you don't know when your number is going to be called. You don't. And you need to prepare like a starter every single day that you're a football player so you have a chance to be successful when your number's called. Ask Connor Fraser. I said that he is the point man for this story, that we went to the national championship because Connor Fraser prepared like a starter every single day. And when his number was called, he answered the bell, and we had a chance to play for the national championship because of it. So we're going to have guys stepping up into roles. We're going to move guys around. We're going to do whatever we can to give ourselves a chance to win.
For you offensively, what are you going to have to do, and what do you face in this Villanova defense?
Yeah, 3-3 stack is one of those defenses. It's a little bit different, and everybody in the league knows it. I'm not saying it's as different as the triple option is to defend, but it is a little bit different, and they run it extremely well. They're a very, very good defense. So we're going to have to run the football. We're going to have to keep the ball out of the hands. They're a huge, big play team. They got a wideout as the number 1 guy in the world for yards per game. And he doesn't have catches per game. It's yards per game because he's a huge, big play threat. And we're going to have to keep that from happening. And if we can keep them from taking huge shots and killing us with it and control the run game a little bit, the way the offense is playing, we should be all right.
And the other thing that you've done recently that has improved is no turnovers. You're going to have to keep that going too. I mean, you don't want to give them opportunities.
Well, we went back and graded all the film, and we talk about this every Sunday. And we go through each individual player, each individual position and side of ball. And offensively, for the first time in I don't know how many games, and when I say I don't know how many games, I'm talking about tens of games, we had less than a handful of mental errors for an entire football game offensively, and we ran as many plays as we did. That's a credit to the kids, it's a credit to the coaches, but it's a great teaching lesson. And all you got to do is the thing that you were taught to do, and it works out to be pretty successful. So that includes not turning the ball over. So we stay on this path, keep moving in the right direction, keep getting better every week. I like where we go.
All right, before we go, the one thing we've got to talk about was the play of the game, and that is you got it down at the 1 yard line. Mm-hmm. You put in motion your center, mm-hmm. and he comes in motion, takes the snap, and scores a touchdown. Mm-hmm. First of all, how long have you had that in the playbook, and how many times do you practice it?
It's been in the playbook for 3 weeks. Came up with it a couple weeks ago, and had to juggle it a little bit with the officials. It needs to be discussed because they had never seen anything in the world like that before, and it is completely legal. I had to convince one guy that it was, but he followed up. And not that hard. It's a quarterback sneak. So for everybody but Cole, they've already done this. This isn't a new play. We do different formations all the time. We have more than 5 linemen on the field sometimes, which gives defenses a problem. And the way with the formation that we lined up in, they weren't going to put anybody over the ball. So, and for those of you at home who don't know, Cole Tripko was a quarterback for most of his youth career. So taking snaps from underneath center is nothing to him. And also, when you do something like this, the pride for the offensive line, all members of the offensive line to support one of each other to score a touchdown is immense. I will also tell you that there are great benefits of doing this that I had not planned on. Every offensive lineman on social media and every O-line coach on social media all across the United States at every level now have seen this play, and it will be part of their playbook. And the other thing is, if you're an offensive lineman and your head coach came up with something like that when you were the captain and the 4-year starter, and offensive linemen never get to touch the ball and never have any sexy success. Get a chance to score a touchdown, a planned touchdown. Wouldn't you want to play for that guy?
Well, I was going to say, in a way, isn't that kind of because you've loved Cole his whole time here, kind of a thank you?
Oh, sure.
As his career's coming to an end?
Well, it's thank you. It's successful. It's a intellectually, philosophical, successful thing to do. And it's fun. And football's supposed to be fun. And I can tell you that us doing that created joy for everybody on that team. Nobody could have been happier. And then the bad part was that Cole came off the field like limping. And I told him, well, that's it. I'm never giving you the ball again because you can't handle your success.
Well, it was fun, and hopefully it'll be fun again this Saturday at Johnny Unitas Stadium. Tigers and the Wildcats go at it 2 o'clock. Gordy and I will be with you on Flow Sports and TowsonTigers.com at 1:45 with the pregame show. Thanks to our head coach, Rob Ambrose. I'm Spiro Marikas. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of the Tiger Football Report.